Duncan says the absurdity of Pizzagate is used as a cover-up to turn a blind eye. I'm one of those crazies that hears some of the stuff about Pizzagate and goes, I have a hard time explaining that. And one of the main guys that just debunked Pizzagate a few years ago just got busted for being part of a child porn ring I saw the other day. So I don't know. The world I'm living in is crazy, man. I'm of the mind that the truth causes a lot of people to go crazy, and that behind not every, but most conspiracy theories is some truth that made people go nuts whenever they realized there was some truth to it. So some people go bonkers with it, but that doesn't mean that there is no there. So there's definitely some there with respect to international child sex trading rings that's going on the southern border with immigrant children, for sure, documented. And there are definitely all kinds of pedophile rings that are in existence in the information age in particular, where like can group with like. It's a gross era that we're living in, and it's very hard to come to terms with. But that doesn't mean that it's not real. It's going on, and I've said that we're going to have to answer to later generations, if there are any, about why we didn't have more moral outrage about abortion than we do. We're also going to have to answer for the very milquetoast, kind of lukewarm, effete response to a growing awareness of massive child sex abuse across the world and even in our own country. It's just humans have this very self-justifying way of going through life and not looking at the hard thing and not doing the hard thing and convincing themselves they're basically good, everything is basically okay. And man, Satan is glorified in that. That's not to say that we need to get a bunch of guns and go out crusading and getting vengeance on all the bad guys. That is to say that we need to be continually, just as a basic thing. Here's what I think realistic Christians can realistically do to beat back the gates of hell in this way. Get to know your neighbors. This stuff happens in other people's homes around us all the time, and we have no idea because we don't know our neighbors. You should know everybody on your street. If you live in a town, city, you should regularly be taking time to visit with your neighbors, showing up at their door, making sure they know you, praying with them if you can. But you should know your neighbors. You should keep an eye on your neighbors, especially neighbors with children. You shouldn't be creepy about it, but you should just make sure that everything looks okay, that everything's getting out, and then you should be willing to interlope whenever there's a child in a house down the street and you haven't seen them, or you have and they're looking rough, or you need to keep an eye on these things, and you need to stay on top of it. When you get clear that there is a child that's in a bad situation, or an elderly adult, elder abuse happens too, stay on top of it. Don't just make one call and assume that it's getting taken care of. Make many calls. Bother people, annoy people until it gets taken care of. And, if you're 100% certain that abuse is going on, I am not going to judge you for getting somebody out of harm's way on your own. Whether or not it's legal, I just think there's a moral imperative. So it's a dark world we're living in.